deal with rate shoppers?
Well, the rate shoppers, how we deal with them is we bring out the tools of torture. No, I'm just kidding, of course. So it's funny you say that. Just about 2-3 days ago, I was looking in a Facebook group, and somebody was at some level kind of freaking out a little bit because he said, I've got somebody that's rate shopping, what do I do? All right. So I'm going to give you a script that I have found to be extremely effective, but there's a couple things I want to cover first. So number one, my first thought when I read that was, and I'm not saying this in a sarcastic way, it's a real question, and I'm going to give you a script. But my first thought was, how are the other 39 people that you have pre-approved and out looking, right? Once you have more volume coming in, if you have one sheep going astray, it's not that each one isn't important, I get that, but it's not critically important, right? Yeah. So it's a lot easier to build up your volume, and because one thing I have found is rate shoppers are going to shop. Rate shoppers are going to shop.
Right.
So my own personal numbers is for every 4 referred leads I get, we'll have 1 closing. And how that usually works out is about 50% of our leads are closable. Both the consumer or the borrower and the property is something that we do. Their level of down payment's appropriate, their credit score is appropriate, their debt to income's appropriate, and the property is something that we lend on.
Right.
That's about 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, something's awry that at least for now, we can't help them, right? We need to work on something first. So on the half that is pre-approvable, we close on about half of those.
Okay.
Now the other half of the ones that's pre-approvable that we don't close, either they changed their mind, they decided not to buy, they decided not to refinance, or they shopped us, right? And that's okay. Because if I always thought if I want to close 20 loans using that, I close 25% referrals, I need 80 referrals, right, to close 20 loans.
Right.
And for some of you, you go, well, that's nothing. I close 20 loans a week, right? And I get that. That's just an easy multiple to work from. Some of you might see that 20 loans and go, wow, how in the hell am I going to get 80 leads, right? But if you break it down, it's like if you need 80 leads to close 20 loans, that means you need 20 leads a week. Break it down a little bit more, means you need 3 leads a day.
Right.
That's a little bit more biteable.
Yeah.
You know, you can kind of chew on that one a little bit. And so there's 4 primary strategies that we use to get more referred leads. And I'm not talking about the internet leads where they have a closure ratio between 1 and maybe 4%.
That's high.
You know, something like that. Yeah, and that's on the high side. But and nothing against those, right? We do those too. But for our quickest growth comes from referred leads.
Right.
And if we get 3 referrals a day, that'll give us about 20 closings per month, or multiples thereof. And if you want, we don't have time for this because I want to get to the script of the rate shopping. If you'd like to talk about how do we get those referred leads without buying a bunch of widgets, you know, that can take their own time, you know, trying to figure them out and setting them up and whatnot. But anyway, there's a link somewhere on the page. Click on it, and we'll be happy to share with you how we get our referred leads without buying leads or anything uncool like that. All right, so back to the rate shoppers. Understand though, again, rate shoppers are going to shop. It's just the nature of the beast. So the key to this is to identify them early in the game. So when this guy was on this post saying, hey, they're rate shopping me, the real problem is he had spent now this amount of time working on the client, maybe doing a rapid rescore, helping him with their credit, and now after he's done all that work, now he's finding out that they're rate shopping. That's the frustrating part. The trick to this is to identify that rate shopper early in the game, address it early in the game, and if we can get them to commit, awesome. If we can't, that's okay too. Identify it early in the game before we spend a lot of time.
Right.
So I've got a little script that I use, and the basic script, and this is in the very beginning, like if you and I were talking at the very beginning, and you just gave me your information, and I ran the numbers and maybe ran DU and got my approval, my automated approval back, and then I'm calling you up to sell the deal, so to speak, and ask for your commitment, and give you the rate and whatnot. I would say my basic script is, Nina, borrower Nina, if I can insert in blank, will you commit to me being your lender
Oh, wow.
for this purchase or refinance.
Yeah.
Very early in the game here, right? So how that would sound, and I've got a little script here, and maybe we can put something where you can get a copy of it. But basically, I'm going to read this script here. So basically, it sounds like this. It'd go, okay, Nina, based upon our conversation and preliminary information, so this is not, I'm not committing for that, you know. So based upon our conversation, preliminary information, it looks like your monthly payment is going to be blank. And with a down payment of blank, and funds to bring to closing at blank. So, Nina, if I can have this as your monthly payment, this is the money you're bringing to the closing table, will you commit to me being your lender on this purchase refinance so that I can commit me and my team to start working on it so we can make sure that we close on time?
Yeah.
And that's it. So I'm asking for your commitment early in the game, and not just asking for a commitment, I'm asking for your commitment so that we can close on time. You have to give a reason why. So if I'm asking for your commitment, I have to tell you why, how it's going to benefit you to give me that commitment so that I can commit me and my team to start working on this to make sure that we close on time.
That's awesome.
And so this is when our shoppers are going to identify themselves. So I've got one rebuttal on this. So let's say you say, well, Carl, I've got two other lenders that I'm going to be calling to, so I can't commit at this time. Here's my one rebuttal. It's, well, Nina, let me ask you, what could I do right here, right now, to get that commitment from you that I'm your lender? And then shut up and see what you have to say.
Yeah.
You know, if you say, well, gosh, Carl, if you give me 1% interest rate, I'll commit today. Well, today, as we're doing this, I can't do that. But you might say something, like oftentimes I'll say that, and they'll go, you know, Carl, I think we're good, actually. Yeah, we're good. Let's go ahead and do this, right? And that probably happens 1 out of 4 times. The other 3 out of 4, no, Carl, we're going to be looking at 2 other people, and but we'll get back with you and let you know how that works out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's okay, because now I've identified that person's a shopper. Nothing against them, right? It's totally cool. Now I've identified that person as a shopper, and I'm not spending all this time with rapid rescore and doing all this work. What you don't want to do is spend your time chasing the shoppers, because that will suck the life out of you, right? Because most of the time, if you're chasing them, they're going to end up shopping anyway. And I don't care who you are, you do not have the lowest rate in the country.
Yeah.
Somebody will beat you. I don't know who, what, or how much, but nobody's got, quote, the lowest rate, per se.
Right.
And if you chase the shoppers, not a good use of time. Identify them early in the game, and then work on those that have committed to you. Commit yourself to them, and then work on the ways to get more leads coming in, so that when you do have a shopper, it's not your one, or it's not the 1 out of 4 deals you're doing, it's 1 out of 34. Right? And it's watered down a little bit, so it doesn't make it as critical. Each one's important, but not critical. And so that's how I deal with the shoppers. So if you like, again, if you'd like to talk about the different ways that we bring all these leads in without having to buy leads, something here on the page, and we'll get with you and get that over to you. Did we cover that okay?
That was perfect.
Anybody ever tell you talk too much? I didn't mean to dominate the conversation. I really didn't, but I'm just passionate about this shopping thing. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That script's going to help a lot of people.
Well, thanks for having coffee with Carl this morning, and we'll talk to you when you call in.